Now, we've seen table calculations when we have a text table or a chart already made, and then you select the table calculation, right? So, for example, if we have a region and order date, okay, so order date expanded to include, say, year and quarter, and then say we have profit in text. Okay, so now we have profit in the 4 regions for the 4 quarters for 4 years. So now we can go and change, like click this pill, and then we can add a table calculation from here, or you can even open up the table calculation window and select the kind of computation you want and in what direction the computation should proceed. Okay, so this is one way of setting up table calculations. There is another way, which is this one is quick, so that's why this is called quick table computations. But we can set up these computations using table functions, and the table functions provide you with a lot more flexibility, but it has one additional step for us to perform, and that is we set up a calculated field. Okay, so create a calculated field. Let's call this test tab functions. Okay, so we'll use this calculated field to experiment with the kinds of computations that you can set up with table functions. Okay, so to look at the kinds of table functions that are available to us, okay, so here you see the triangle pointing this way. So click that, and that will expand some additional information for you, right? Where is it? Okay, yeah, there you go. All right, so like in Excel, when you go and start typing a function, there's a whole bunch of functions available in Excel, and they are all grouped into different categories. So Tableau does the same thing. So by default, it's giving you the list of functions that are available in alphabetical order, and also they are grouped by categories. All right, and one of those categories is table calculations. So if you select table calculations, it lists all the table calculations that are available. Okay, so we are not going to look at everything. We'll just select a few, which some of which we are already familiar with. For example, index. We've already used index directly as an ad hoc computation. We typed in index here in the shelf, right? Okay, so we can do that. So let's say double click on index. So we have index, and if we index, there is no argument, so that's it. So you click OK. So now if you bring in this into text, it will give you an index. Okay, I'm going to remove the sum profit away. So I'm going to clear the quick table computations, and I'll move this to detail. So if you want, you can hover, and we can then figure out what that profit was. Okay, so here is index. Now, if you want to change the kind of computation, you have to go back to the calculated field and edit. Okay, right there. But you can do if you want to change the compute using, or you want to change it to something else, like well, it does the same thing here. You know, the compute using is is what you get here too. So here you can change the order, the direction of computation, which we've already seen. So right now it is set to table across, so you're getting the index 1, 2, 3, 4 going across, right? So index is just simply starting from the first cell, just a series of numbers. That's it. That's the index. Okay, so if you go table down, so you're going to get the index numbers going this way. If you do table across then down, then you'll go all the way through to 64, a series of index numbers. So that's pretty simple. Now let's try some of the others. Okay, so here go and edit. Okay, so if you do edit from here, you're not going to get the edit page for the computation. So here you'll only get the edit for the table calculation. Okay, to edit the table function, you have to go here. Okay, so now once again, we'll go here and say what first does. Okay, so first, okay, so it just adds first to index. So let's remove index. So what first does is that for any cell in the direction of the computation, so go back, how many steps you have to go back or go down. Okay, first will be go back. So how many cells or how many numbers that you have to traverse back to first. Okay, returns the number of rows from the current row to the first row in the partition. Partition is the scope of computation. Okay, so here with table across and down computations, the first cell you don't have to go anywhere to the first cell. It is first cell, so 0. So here you have to go one cell to the left to get to the first cell, and so on. So here you are at the end, so you have to go 63 cells backwards to get to the first cell. Okay. Now if you change this to say table down, then you'll get the numbers going down in a column, and you'll get reset to every column because it's not all the way down to the end of the table. So here, so you go up to here, and then it gets reset to the next column and the next column and the next column. So if you do table across, then it will be going this way, right? All right. So sometimes you may want this to set up, how many months down, or depending upon the use case, you can either this is useful or not. Okay? You're not going to be able to use this in every situation, but there may be some use cases where this will be helpful. Okay. So that's first, and the opposite of that is last. Okay. So again, let's go ahead and get rid of that, and we can type it in. Okay, so you get prompted for last. So select that. So it returns the number of rows from the current row to the last cell in the partition, right? Whatever the direction of computation may be. Okay, so now you see the last cell. So now it is table across. So there are 3 cells to go to the right to get to the last cell. And here will be 2 cells, and here will be 1 cell. Okay. If you go table down, then it will be like 15 here, all the way going down to 0 at the end.